Hey everybody, and welcome to Stock Abilities. Today I'm going to be covering the US ban of WeChat, TikTok, as they cite privacy concerns, national security, all these things are going around. Seems kind of a made-up narrative. They've been really pushing the TikTok narrative aspect for quite a while now. Then you get this news of an official ban on the day of triple witching when they're doing all these mass exercises and rotationals and everything that's going on. Do I really feel that the reason the market's dropping today is this? Not so much. And I'm going to get into it here just a little bit more into this video. So make sure to watch through the whole video. Make sure to comment below your own input on this ban, what you think of it personally, and all that kind of exciting stuff. But basically, the Associated Press reported today that they will be officially banning Chinese apps, TikTok, and WeChat on Sunday with a total ban on the US use of the latter, citing national security and data privacy concerns, according to the Washington Associated Press. And their total ban on the use of TikTok will fall on November 12th, but Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross said early Friday on Fox Business Network that access to that app may be possible if certain safeguards are put into place. And then, as a direct quote, says the president's direction, we have taken significant action to combat China's malicious collection of American citizens' personal data while promoting our national values, democratic rules, based norms, and aggressive enforcement of U.S. laws and regulations, Ross said in a prepared statement. I don't know if they're trying to escalate to some kind of war or some other underlying thing going on, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot more drama going on than just banning WeChat and TikTok and citing all these privacy concerns, all that kind of stuff. I hold non-tech, so to me it's bullish, because the more bearish tech gets, the more bullish non-tech gets, and that's defense and uh, airlines and all these things that are all kind of running the same algorithm. So it seems more like they're trying to really push the rotational so that they can shuffle their monies from one sector to another. Currently, tech is kind of overvalued, so they have a legitimate reason to dump it. Usually they wait till the week after triple witching, so this is a little bit unusual to see a red day on the day of actual triple witching. Usually they're exercising contracts, and that in turn creates kind of an uptick. It's still early in the day, it's only 11, 12 in the morning. So there's a lot of hours of, you know, time to actually build this back up and skyrocket back up into the end of the day. It's kind of on a lower volume, so I'm still thinking that we still might close out green on the end of the day. At that point, what's really going on ultimately kind of is your personal opinion, how you interpret this. They're saying it's a data leak aspect, but the timing of the news with trade deals and stimulus and all of this going on seems a little bit iffy altogether here. The government order also raised concerns about California tech giant Oracle's recent deal to take over U.S. operations of TikTok, a requirement by the Trump administration for the app to continue operating in the U.S. So then you're wondering, how is this going to affect Oracle? That could be quite dramatic here, considering they're going to be banning it on Sundays. So, I mean, Oracle can't possibly doing all that great in that regard for that aspect. So something to consider here is that, they just made this deal, they just made these connections, how's it going to turn out? I guess we'll find out. I personally have never used any ByteDance related products or services or anything like that. TikTok to me is kind of a silly application. Seems to be toned towards maybe the younger audiences. I don't really personally get it. It reminds me of Vine, where Vine got super popular and then it got shut down. Basically, it disappeared and that was it. This isn't all that unique comparative to Vine, so I don't really get the appeal and the popularity. I guess with everybody stuck at home, they're making silly videos. They don't have a whole lot else to do with their time. People are interested in it, so there's market value in it, but I don't really see the point in utilizing that. Sort of like Instagram and other kinds of social platforms, a lot of them just seem like a waste of time to be utilizing to any reasonable degree. YouTube, for the most part, is a 50-50. It kind of depends who you're watching, why the reason you're on YouTube, all these kind of things. But, For TikTok in particular, I just don't really see the point. And then they go on more and more details that they collect user data, moderate users' posts, grabs user locations and messages, and tracks what they watch to figure out best target ads to them. That's pretty standard practice for places like Facebook and YouTube and all these other places for advertising. There's campaigns that they run where they collect that information and then they might retarget you if you visited a website and they might retarget you on a social platform. So if you looked for shoes, you might see a shoes ad on your Facebook feed, on the ads on the side from the same exact website. These are called retargeting campaigns. Basically, they try to retarget, re-engage you, try to get you to go back to the website and buy what you maybe potentially would have bought. Those are pretty common practices in advertising. This isn't anything unusual. Uh, US is claiming that there's something going on a little bit more than that, but that's up to you guys what you feel in that regard. Uh, as a way to attempt to combat this, they are trying to seek a U.S. IPO for TikTok in an effort to win the White House approval. One avenue ByteDance is exploring to satisfy president's concerns about a U.S. IPO, CNBC's David Faber reported on Thursday, citing sources. Uh, they say it can claim to satisfy President Trump's objection of the Beijing based tech company retaining a majority stake in TikTok. Walmart and Oracle would likely own minority stakes in a spun off TikTok, according to Faber. I guess we'll see how this pans out, but they're banning it by this Sunday. This is the week going into the weekend. This is the news that's going into the weekend. Why this is so impactful to the market, I feel there's something else like something else going on that they're not really covering in the media. That's usually how it goes. Is they bring up a narrative, say that narrative is the reason for the drop, and then days or weeks later we find out it was something totally different. On the plus side, it seems to be continuing to drive up the non-tech sectors while the tech sectors are dropping. So it shows a pretty clear rotational today in regards to the markets. And ultimately, Oracle would own a minority stake. I already covered that. Less than 20%. Walmart is also expected to take a stake in the popular social media company. According to Faber, the potential size of Walmart's stake is still unknown. They go on in more details about it. Potential IPO would likely mark the largest tech IPO in recent years. It's sort of like Snowflake, which generated absolutely no profits, but yet is valued at $80 billion or hit $80 billion of valuation, lost a big chunk of that only after one day of trading. Obviously, insiders sold out, but that's unrelated to this video. Uh, with the company being most recently valued at an estimated 50 billion in private funding rounds, to me that's hilarious. I just don't see that much value in TikTok, but I guess there's value in data in that particular area that it's like even with Snapchat and stuff, I don't really see that connection. I guess due to the large amount of users that use it, that's the value in it, I suppose. But and then of course, in recent days, Trump has been meeting with cabinet members and advisors like Secretary of Treasury Steve Mnuchin, Jared Kushner on whether or not to approve a proposed TikTok deal with Oracle. So that's kind of still in a pending state. Since this news has come out, market started off nice. It was nice and green. This is QQQ. It's kind of a representation of the tech market. So once that news came out, one dropped some more, tried to pump up back up a little bit more, and then it just started fading more into the rest of the day. It hasn't really broke any kind of real supports. I know this is a basic Google chart, but I'm just giving you guys an idea. It did give back a good chunk of basically the entire weeks of pump. It was pumping earlier this week for tech, and then it just kind of ultimately failed and been crashing since then. And the problem with this is that next week, statistically for triple witching, is very, very bearish. So we're going in a very red, weekend, assuming it closes down here, and that's not really a good sign. And it's not just QQQ. It's like every major tech company took a hit today. No apparent reason why beyond the TikTok news. So you can see with Microsoft, you can see with Facebook. Facebook started off very strong, 258-ish, 259 plus. And then, of course, it faded into later in the day with being down $1.20, uh, only a half a percent, which doesn't seem like much, but from where it started, that's a pretty significant drop. Google's been taking a hit too, as well as Amazon. Now let me show you guys quickly here. Uh, you know, Defense is up. Wrong thing here. Jet stock mixed, flat. Cruises been taking a hit too. So it seems like it's mostly just defense that's running at least today. Just from a quick look, there's some other non. I mean, Square's taking a hit, of course. It's fintech. I'm trying to think of what other ones here. The more obscure ones, they seem to be pumping like DraftKings here, sports related stuff here, and that's going up. But overall, the big thing that's taking the largest hit is, of course, the tech market. QQQ usually doesn't get hammered this much. Usually it's up because tech is usually up on the week to week and the day to day. In the past 6 months, this is the heaviest dip it's had in one whole straight month. And of course, it happens on the statistically bearish month of September. As you can see here, they're kind of hovering around that August range here. We might see a little bit lower into next week, and I feel after that we might finally start seeing a little bit of a bounce back on the market. But right now, tech is taking a hit. Not exactly the best time to get in. It could rebound today, which if it followed basically its usual patterns here, that we might see a bounce coming into the following weeks and months into the end of the year. You got holiday season coming up. You got a lot of different exciting things coming up, like the stimulus being passed, which is just going to basically inject billions of dollars more into these sectors. Might not be best for a consumer, but for the actual markets that are going to get the most benefit, the most profit from that, different sectors, I feel that they're trying to rotate more into the non-tech because the non-tech is still very low. So it's very easy for them to pump up those markets. I'll show you